Welcome to Fold3. In this video, you will learn the most effective ways to search for records on Fold3. We'll start on the home page and use these search boxes to look for George Anderson, who may have been in the War of 1812. When we click the search button, we're taken to a results page with over 300,000 matches. We will want to narrow this down using the filters on this page, but first, let's modify our search using this button. We are taken to Advanced Search, where you can enter additional information like keyword, place, or a year range. There's also a sounds like option for first and last names, which may improve your chances of finding a name with different spellings. If you perform a lot of searches for the same person, you will want to choose Added in the Past for more recent results within the last few months or a year. You'll also find a few helpful search tips here. In this example for George Anderson, all we want to change is to not include OCR, or optical character recognition matches, which automatically indexes typed text in some of these records. Searches will always include OCR matches, so be sure to leave it checked if you want to explore newspapers, city directories, war diaries, or any of the many other Fold3 titles that use OCR indexing. Now when we redo our search, we return to the results page and find a much more manageable 39,000 matches. To narrow our results further, let's see what our options are on this page. We can use these unique filters to narrow our search to the time period, location, collection, or document set we're most interested in. The category column shows how many documents can be found in each collection. For example, there are nearly 2,900 documents in the Revolutionary War collection for men named George Anderson, over 9,700 in the Civil War collection, over 6,000 in World War II, and so on. We'll check some of these boxes in a moment. Alternatively, you can check results by titles with the most matches, or change to list alphabetically or by most recently updated titles. The timeline section in the middle column indicates the range of years covered by our matches. Since we're still looking at all categories, this is a very broad time period. It will narrow when we start filtering our results. The location section shows in which states matches occur. Darker states have more matches. Military service and unit filters allow you to fine-tune your results even further. Result type can be very helpful if you know you want to find someone in a document, on a memorial page, or within a comment or spotlight. And once again, we find a filter to choose results only within a more recent time period. Of course, the third column brings all our results into a scrollable list with thumbnail images and where our search results show up within the record. Now let's get back to George Anderson and use these filters to help us find his records. Let's begin with the category section. When you click on the arrow next to a category, you can view all the titles within that collection. For instance, if we wanted to narrow our search to the Revolutionary War pensions, we can click this box to limit matches to only Rev War pension files for someone named George Anderson. When we pull the list up, the square filling the box indicates that our search was limited to only certain titles. Clicking on the box changes it back to a check mark, and therefore we return to all records within the Revolutionary War collection and, of course, more matches. Anywhere you see an arrow, you'll know more titles are included within. You can then scroll down to uncheck or limit where you want to find your results. The image count to the right of the record set gives you a great indication of where you'll find the most matching documents. Now let's adjust the time period using the timeline filter. We can move these sliders forward and back to narrow the time period in which we're hoping to find records. We can also type a date directly in the box, click Update, and find more records pertinent to the time period in which George Anderson lived. We're getting closer with this set of matches, but let's filter our results further by location. We're going to select Pennsylvania, either through this link here or by clicking on the state. And now, because I want to make sure we find a document within the War of 1812 collection, I'm going to choose to check this box here and limit it to the War of 1812 collections. Our matches have now dropped drastically to only 29 within 25 results. Notice down here, though, we have matches for people named Anderson as well as people named George, but not necessarily all of these people are named George Anderson. In fact, only this document at the top has the name George Anderson. When we choose this match, we're taken to a thumbnail view of the document, and we can see that George Anderson's signature is at the bottom of the page. We can zoom in and see the page more fully and understand why George Anderson is part of this document. You may have noticed that the main document is a pension file for William Anderson. It turns out George is William's brother and signed an affidavit saying so. Anytime you want to see more details about your matches, Click on the match and you'll see the thumbnail images we've just reviewed. Now let's go back to our main search screen. We can always review and modify our matches by unchecking boxes and deleting our modifiers. And this takes us back to our original search before we modified it. You can either start your search over or work with different modifiers now that you've seen how they operate. Thank you for watching this video on how to search on Fold3. Visit the Fold3 Training Center for more tutorials as well as helpful hints on how to make your visits to Fold3 as rewarding as possible. Enjoy finding those you seek in the military records on Fold3.